Hi, in this video I'm going to talk to you about how to sell Dropbox for Business to your customers. Welcome to Journey to Cloud. This is Rahul, and today we're going to talk about how to sell Dropbox for Business to your customers, whether it's a small business, medium, or an enterprise customer. It's before I get even giving you the tips of how to sell, I think very important that all you sales teams of who's trying to get into cloud business or who's trying to sell a cloud service to your customers, I think the first thing I would stress is try to think about the need and opportunity of a file sync and share service like Dropbox for any customer. So it's like if you go to a startup environment, it's about 1 to 3 people employee company. Go to a proper small business, 5 to 10 employee, medium size, enterprise, and as long as they are working on files and folders and there is more than one person in the organization, the need of a file sync and share service is always going to be there. The difference between an enterprise or a mid-sized customer is they typically have their rules. They have been there in the business for quite some time, which means they might have a file server or a SharePoint kind of active service which might be serving their purpose but definitely not solving their problems. They might have been living with the problem and the IT folks may not even know about the fact that the users are actually using a third-party service like WeTransfer or a free Dropbox or a OneDrive or something, and that can potentially bring a threat to the organization that the data is lying all over, number one. Two, the business is affecting. The business don't realize that business has problems, and that's exactly my second point is make the customer realize what kind of problems they are actually living with. So one of the way to look at sales is go after the need and sell to fill the need. If there is no need, go and create the need. When I say create the need, it's not about actually creating a need. It's about just making the customer realize, oh, there is a problem which you want to solve, and the need automatically gets created. So sometimes people don't know that they are living with a problem. It's just that you bring the perspective and you make them realize that, oh, the problem actually can be solved. So make the customer realize what kind of problems they are living with. And when I say problems, I'm talking about salespeople sharing and trying to find out what kind of issues they might be facing today or frustration. They don't talk about it, but they just think that it is how it is. For example, they want to access customer files, proposal, folders, everything on the go on their mobile, and there was not any choice given to them because the files are all sitting in a server. They would never think of putting it on the mobile. Finance teams, same problem. They want to share and they want to look at suppliers sending them their quotations and this and that. Legal department want to organize the files and folder. HR wants to organize everything into a file and folder and wants to have access to these files and folders everywhere, and they want to actively exchange and share with other locations of the business, other teams and departments of the business, and it was just not possible before. But today it's possible. Today they might be doing it in a different way. It's just that make them realize that this is a problem. This could be a challenge. It may not be a problem which is spoken, but if you solve that problem, business productivity can go up, business success can go up. So this is exactly what you want to discuss and show it to the business folks, not to the IT folks. Stay away from the IT. The next thing is lead with use cases. When you want to sell Dropbox for business, you don't want to talk about features and benefits that you get 2 terabytes or you get 25 terabytes. No, you need to lead with use cases. Use cases is not case studies. Use cases is how a sales department should use or can use Dropbox, how a finance department can use, how a small business can use, how an enterprise legal department can use Dropbox, and so on. So these are use cases. Use cases is, oh, that pharmacy company actually is using that manufacturing company, this name of the customer. That's okay, So if you want to open the dialogue, you want to start with leading with use cases. A reference or a case study is useful when the customer is already ready and he just wants a little bit more assurance, and he need a reference or a use case could make the deal nailed down. But then use cases are super critical. Lead with use cases. You want to have a discussion, ask what department of that person is working with, and then give an example of that department with respect to Dropbox. And that will be much more better way to sell than just talking about features and benefits, that, oh, you get syncing facility, you get that facility. No, that's fine. That comes by default. But then what is important is how to explain the customer how to use it, use cases. Push them to try, because if you don't push them to try, they will just listen to it and they will never experience it. If you cannot make the customer experience what a Dropbox can do for them, they will never be able to understand. That's very simple. So give them a trial, put few users on the trial, and actually make them share files and folders and sync it on a mobile on different laptops, and that is going to give them the actual experience. Let them share it with link, let them put it as an expiry of the link, and so on, and how easy it makes the life. After going through that small trial, they will realize to make it, they themselves will understand what exactly it can make a difference to them. One of the easiest thing to tell them is to start playing around with their personal Dropbox. That's the easiest thing. It comes with 2 GB, but the functionality, the way it will behave for one user, not an organization, but for one user, it will be the same experience, almost the same experience. But then, of course, they cannot use a personal version for business because it requires a little bit more controls and other features and functionality. But the experience of engaging with the technology is almost the same. So you could encourage the customer during the purchase process to try the Dropbox Personal Edition also, if they want to just play around with it individually. And the last thing is to really nail it down. Once you go through these steps, really bring it down to business benefits. And that's where you want to have discussions like work from anywhere, anytime, any device. And this is what you start showing to them. In fact, business benefits should be always baked into every use case which you are presenting it to the customer. You don't need a file server, and that's the thing which you want to keep talking about. File server. So file server, just kill the file server. Integrations of Dropbox with others. For example, if you're talking about legal department can go for an add-on of DocuSign for digital signature. Dropbox plays almost all files natively within the browser. For example, videos, it shows AutoCAD, it shows Autodesk files, preview without actual software required. And that's a big advantage. Not everybody should have the native software to actually open the file and just review it and comment it. Dropbox can do the job for you. Large file sharing, people don't realize how much they get frustrated every time they attach a big file. It doesn't go through, and they struggle and they wait and try to find a way to get things done. If your file is 25 MB, 30 MB, 50 MB, there is no way to send it out, and the USBs are dead, right? You don't want to walk with a USB in the organization, and nobody uses that. So large file sharing made easy is a good business benefit. Auto backup and unlimited version is just not spoken, but that's a big benefit. Imagine you're working on a file, you hit the save button, and you just realize you screwed up the file. With Dropbox, you can go all the way 120 days back, and that's no-brainer benefit and advantage. Dropbox saves every version for 120 days. That leads to the next thing, which is ransomware protection. Just imagine, ransomware attack happens, all your files are screwed, And then this is exactly where Dropbox can kick in. You can just restore the previous version or state, and ransomware problems gone. So this is company and business benefits. Company has a control. It is not lying with the user. The IT admin or Dropbox admin can actually control the policies, see the logs, and when the employee leaves, he can transfer the data to another associate or an employee. So I think that's the sequence of the way to look at how to sell Dropbox for business to an organization. Not go after, oh, you get 2 terabytes, you get this and that. You will kill it. You will not be able to have a dialogue and discussion. There are competitions with Dropbox for Business, like OneDrive. Customer might say, I'm using Office 365, I'm having OneDrive. The bottom line is the user experience. Dropbox experience is amazing. It's like sitting and driving a Mercedes other than driving a Toyota Corolla. So the experience is the most important thing. The reliability of the technology and the adaptability of the technology is the critical thing. So these are the few points which I wanted to share on how to help you sell Dropbox for Business. So if you have more tips, some better ideas, please leave your comments on in the below the description. And if you enjoy the video, please like it, share it, and promote the channel. This is Rahul from Journey to Cloud. Thank you. Enjoy.